I was going to invest in a funeral home, but it's a dying industry. Hello everybody and welcome to this video. My name's Phil and hopefully you're all okay. And I'm doing this video simply because it was a request and people were saying that I should do this. So as you know from my last video, I mentioned that I have never watched any of the MCU films. Big shock. That's unbelievable that someone who collects so much stuff would not watch the MCU. But to be honest, I never really found much interest in it, to be honest. I'm not a superhero fan. I'm more of a space fan, more of a kind of a fantasy sort of a guy. I like spy films and stuff like that, and gadgets and that. So for me, it just kind of passed me by. Just went past, never really paid much attention. Recently, I don't know what's triggered inside me, but I think I watched a couple of clips of random Marvel stuff. And I thought to myself, it's really sad because they were a phenomenon. And I went to California a few years back and went to Disney. And in Disney, there's the Marvel area. And you've got like Spider-Man jumping across the buildings. And you've got like the Guardians of the Galaxy and Spider-Man and the Pym. Is it Pym? Something like that, or something like Pym Cafe, where they do like oversized food, and all this felt like lore that I just wasn't privy to, and I enjoyed it because, to be honest, it was probably one of my favourite areas of the park. And I thought to myself, I want to do this. I want to watch all these films. So I started, and I watched the very first one of the entire series of films, which is this one, Iron Man. 2008, would you believe this came out? And I remember it coming out. I remember Iron Man coming out. I remember thinking he looked super cool, but I never watched it. I just left it alone and never visited it. So here's me reacting to this first film and sort of putting my points. I'll put some images in there as well. So what do I say? Robert Downey Jr. He plays Tony Stark. He came from out of nowhere because at that time he was pretty disgraced. He was a bit of a bad boy of Hollywood. He was pretty much unemployable at this time, except for very, very, very small underground stuff. It was a lot of drug stuff and a lot of really bad things for him. So he was kind of picked up and placed in this role of Iron Man. And yeah, it was famously classed. When it first came out, people said this will do until Batman Begins comes out, because Batman Begins was a couple of years later. They weren't thinking much from this. It was just kind of a one thing. And Iron Man, so we started watching it. You know, you start off with Tony Stark, and it kind of flashes back and forward. So he's been captured by this kind of militia, and it's pretty clear that he is someone who sells arms to the military. Pretty powerful, destructible arm, really strong weaponry to American military, or anyone. In his eyes, the American military. I'm going too ahead of myself. So Stark Industries is an arms dealership. He is out in some Middle Eastern country. I can't remember if it actually tells you which one. And you see him get kind of captured. He's kind of blown up along with all the men. They're kind of captured, and he's taken and placed in a dungeon. And he meets with this guy who is with him. I forget his name escapes me, but he helps him. He keeps him alive by placing a like an electromagnet in his chest, and that electromagnet will, apparently the shrapnel has gone into his chest so deep it can't be surgically removed anymore. So the only way to stop it from moving its way forward towards the heart is for this electromagnet, which is strong enough to pull the shrapnel out. So he then builds a better core. He's captured, and then he has to kind of try and make some way of escape, and the only way he can think of is to create almost like a mechanical suit, like a suit of armor, like an Iron Man, which he does. And those scenes are really good. I must admit, I was really impressed with those because it shows him kind of building it from nothing. And I will say this, the actual practical effects are brilliant. The suit looks really good. The effects with the explosions and the fighting looks absolutely fantastic. So anyway, there's a transition where eventually he builds this suit and he gets in it, and his friend sacrifices his life to save him. And then Iron Man, the prototype 1 Iron Man, stomps his way out and just batters everybody with this suit. He's eventually kind of able to blast his way out of this particular encampment, and he's rescued by the American military, who just so happen to be flying over looking for him because he is a billionaire. And there's a lot of similarities between Iron Man and Batman. The only difference is that Iron Man is all bravado, and that's it. There's just no front to him because that's him. It's not a front. Whereas with Batman, you feel Bruce Wayne is always a front. It's always a pretend, so that he can, blend in and not get discovered. But they're very similar. They're both millionaires. They have a lot of money, but they're also geniuses. They're able to kind of make all these different things and this, that, and the other. So Tony Stark comes back, starts to really obsess over the suit. He obsesses over what he's built. And I want to just point out super quick the absolutely brilliant Gwyneth Paltrow, who I did not know was in this. So there's Jeff Bridges, who's the dude in The Big Lebowski, and he plays a very serious businessman in this. A little bit more on him in a second. Gwyneth Paltrow is essentially Tony Stark's PA, but she's lovely. And I'm not a massive fan of Gwyneth Paltrow, I'm not going to lie. Maybe back then she was okay. She's got a bit weird now, but she's great, and she's really good in this. And she's a big support for Tony. She's kind of like his right hand. Without her, he really does struggle at life in general. Yeah, I just wanted to mention her because she's such an integral part, but she plays such a small part. So you kind of see him have this brush with death, this escape, and then it's like all his philanthropist kind of, bohemian bullshit where he's just going to parties and sleeping with women and just doing whatever the hell he wants because he's a billionaire, and he feels there's a bigger cause to it somewhere. So he starts building the suit, and we see the Iron Man suit being developed. And this again is great because at no point did I feel like, oh, for God's sake, get in the suit, because it was giving us just enough of it. It was giving us him testing out the boost, which made sense, because it's a suit that can fly. So in theory, that's a really scary prospect. You're not going to just jump into it and fly around. You're going to have to test it out a few times, and he does. He tests it out, and then there's the comedy. There's a little bit of humor in there as well, and I think Robert Downey Jr. can deliver that really well. He's got a great. He was really good. I really enjoyed him in this. So excuse me, I do apologise. Hay fever. So halfway through the film, and we then start to get Iron Man being built. He's painted, and he goes to a party. There's a little bit of chemistry with him and Pepper. They're going to kiss, and then shit happens. And basically what happens is Jeff Bridges' character, he has been reportedly discovered to be selling arms to whoever's got the most money. So he's not just selling to the American military, he's not selling to this, he's selling to whoever's got the most money, when Tony Stark didn't know that. So immediately Jeff Bridges is a bad guy, he's an asshole. We then later find out that Jeff Bridges actually is in cahoots with the group that captured Tony Stark. My idea is that he wanted him dead so that he could then resume control of Stark Industries or Enterprises, and Tony Stark's dead. And obviously Tony Stark escaped. They also have parts of his old costume, so they're now going to try and replicate this costume. Meanwhile, Tony Stark has kind of gone on a bit of a vengeance rant. He keeps going back to the Middle East and blasting everybody and then fucking off back to America. So he's doing that. It all kind of crescendos into this huge battle where Jeff Bridges' character has now made his own his own armor, but it's massive. It's like 4 times the size of his, and it reminds me of RoboCop. When RoboCop is fighting I can't remember what it is. It's like a mech warrior on legs, on chicken legs, and he has to fight it. And or Kane, I think, was the other guy that he has to fight. They stick his brain inside a robot. It becomes a mental case. It reminded me of that, just this kind of David and Goliath moment where he's fighting a much bigger version of this robot, you know. Excuse me. And it's got all kind of explosions and rockets on it. And the visuals are great. They're really pretty. For a 2008 film, I was really impressed. And there's not over-the-top stuff, but it was very good. Last things last. Yeah, Tony and this guy have a fight, and Tony wins, and of course, and that is kind of the end of the film. And I love the end where he's having the press conference. Normally they wouldn't say who it is, and we just don't know who Iron Man is, and he just flat out goes, "Yeah, I'm Iron Man." He just owns that shit straight away, and that's the end of the film. It's great. It's really, really good film. I really enjoyed this, and I'm hoping that all the others are going to be as good as that one. I've been told that there may be a few stinkers in there, but this definitely wasn't one of them. I really thoroughly enjoyed it from start to finish, and yeah, so this is going to be a series. Every time I watch one of the MCU films, I'm going to do a little bit of a review and my reaction, and you can kind of see these films again through the eyes of someone who genuinely doesn't know what's coming. I have no idea. I'm totally fresh. I haven't been watching anything on my YouTube or anything. I've purposely ignored them if they pop up. Iron Man was fantastic. The suit looks badass. The characters are really well developed. You spend time with them. There's a couple of characters that do a bit of lip service towards Tony, and they're just there to kind of big him up and give him the high fives and yeah, Tony Stark. But 9 times out of 10, it just hits every time. It's a really good movie. I would watch it again and again. And I'm really excited for the next one. And the next one happens to be the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. Now, there's already a few issues with this one because this came out in 2009. And it's Ed Norton. And Ed Norton is not in the new MCU films. I know that much. So somewhere along the line, this goes somewhere else. Excuse me. I do apologise. So yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen with this one. But I will watch it. This is the second one. And then I'm on to Iron Man 2, which is the next one after that. So yeah. Possibly try and watch this either in the next couple of nights so I can give you a review. But if you enjoyed this, please leave a like, a subscribe, and let me know what you thought. You get to witness somebody who's never watched these films before watch them again, and yeah, it's all good fun. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on this video. I hope you're having a wonderful week, and I shall speak to you very, very, very soon. But in the meantime, Avengers, assemble. Goodbye.